Have a cozy chat beside the sparkling waves and discuss matters feminine. Sissy Caffrey and Edie Boardman with the baby in the pushcar, and Tommy and Jackie Caffrey, two little curly-headed boys dressed in sailor suits with caps to match and the name HMS Belle Isle printed on both. For Tommy and Jackie Caffrey were twins, scarce 4 years old, and very noisy and spoiled twins sometimes. But for all that, darling little fellows with bright, merry faces and endearing ways about them. They were dabbling in the sand with their spades and buckets, building castles as children do, or playing with their big colored ball, happy as the day was long. And Edie Boardman was rocking the chubby baby to and fro in the pushcar, while that young gentleman fairly chuckled with delight. He was but 11 months and 9 days old, and, though still a tiny toddler, was just beginning to lisp his first babyish words. Sissy Caffrey bent over to him to tease the fat little plucks and the dainty dimple in his chin. "Now, baby," Sissy Caffrey said, "say out big, big. I want a drink of water." And baby prattled after her, a jink a job, whoa." Suddenly Jackie Caffrey called out, "Oh, look, Sissy!" And they all looked. "It's fireworks," Sissy Caffrey said. And they all ran down the strand to see over the houses in the church, helter-skelter, Edie with the pushcar with baby Boardman in it, and Sissy holding Tommy and Jackie by the hand so they wouldn't fall running. "Come on, Gertie," Sissy called. "It's the bazaar fireworks." But Gertie was adamant. She had no intention of being at their beck and call. If they could run like Rossies, she could sit, so she said she could see from where she was. The eyes that were fastened upon her set her pulses tingling. She looked at him a moment, meeting his glance, and a light broke in upon her. White-hot passion was in that face, passion silent as the grave, and it had made her his. At last they were left alone without the others to pry and pass remarks, and she knew he could be trusted to the death, steadfast, a sterling man, a man of inflexible honor to his fingertips. His hands and face were working, and a tremor went over her. She leaned back far to look up where the fireworks were, and she caught her knee in her hand so as not to fall back, looking up, and there was no one to see, only him and her, when she revealed all her graceful, beautifully shaped legs like that, supply soft and delicately rounded, and she seemed to hear the panting of his heart, his hoarse breathing, because she knew too about the passion of men like that, hot-blooded, because Bertha Supple told her once in dead secret and made her swear she'd never about the gentleman lodger that was staying with them out of the congested districts board that had pictures cut out of papers of those skirt dancers and high kickers. And she said he used to do something not very nice that you imagine sometimes in bed. But this was altogether different from a thing like that, because there was all the difference, because she could almost feel him draw her face to his, and the first quick, hot touch of his handsome lips. Besides, there was absolution, so long as you didn't do the other thing before being married. And there ought to be women priests, and that would understand without telling you out. And Sissy Caffrey, too, sometimes had that dreamy kind of look in her eyes, so that she, too, my dear, and Winnie Rippingham, so mad about actors' photographs, and besides, it was on account of that other thing coming on the way it did. And Jackie Caffrey shouted to look. There was another, and she leaned back, and the garters were blue to match on account of the transparent, and they all saw it, and they all shouted to look, look! There it was, and she leaned back ever so far to see the fireworks, and something queer was flying through the air, a soft thing, to and fro, dark. And she saw a long Roman candle go up over the trees, up, and in the tense hush they were all breathless with excitement as it went higher and higher, and she had to lean back more and more to look up after it, high, high, almost out of sight, and her face was suffused with a divine and entrancing blush, and straining back, and he could see her other things too, names of knickers, the fabric that caresses the skin, better than those others, petty with the green 4 and 11, on account of being white, and she let him, and she saw that he saw, and then it went so high, it went out of sight a moment, and she was trembling in every limb from being bent so far back, and he had a full view. swingy where no one ever, not even on the swing, are waiting. And she wasn't ashamed, and he wasn't either, to look in that immodest way like that, because he couldn't resist the sight of that wondrous revealment, half offered like those skirt dancers, behaving so immodest before gentlemen, looking, and he kept on looking. She would fain have cried to him, jokingly held out her snowy, slender arms to him to come to feel his lips laid on her white brow. The cry of a young girl's love, a little strangled cry wrung from her, that cry that was wrung through the ages, and then, oh, rocket sprang and bang, shot, bang, bang, and oh, then the Roman candle burst, and it was like a dynamo, and everyone cried, oh, in raptures, and it gushed out in a stream of rain gold hair threads, and they shed, they were all green, dewy stars, falling with all golden, soft, lovely, sweet, soft. And it all melted away dully in the gray air. All was silent. Oh, she glanced at him as she bent forward quickly, a pathetic little glance, piteous protest, of shy reproach, under which he colored like a girl. He was leaning back against the rock behind. Leopold Bloom, for it is he, stands silently, with bowed head before those young guileless eyes. What a brute he had been. At it again, a fair, unsullied soul had called to him, and wretch that he was, how had he answered? An utter cad he had been, he of all men. But there was an infinite store of mercy in those eyes. For him, too, a word of pardon, even though he had erred and sinned and wandered. Should a girl tell? No, 1,000 times no. That was their secret. Only theirs, alone in the hiding twilight, and there was none to know or tell save the little bat that flew so softly through the evening, to and fro, and little bats don't tell. Sissy Caffrey whistled, imitating the boys on the football field to show what a great person she was. And then she cried, Gertie, we're going, come on! We can see from farther up! Gertie had an idea, one of Love's little ruses. She slipped a hand into her kerchief pocket and took out the wadding and waved in reply, of course, without letting him, and then slipped it back. Wonder if he's too far to. She rose. Was it goodbye? No. She had to go, but they would meet again there, and she would dream of that till then, tomorrow, of her dream of yestereve. She drew herself up to her full height. Their souls met in a last lingering glance, and the eyes that reached her heart, full of a strange shining, hung enraptured on her sweet, flower-like face. She half smiled to him wanly, a sweet, forgiving smile, a smile that verged on tears. And then they parted. Slowly, without looking back, she went down the uneven strand to Sissy, to Edie, to Jackie and Tommy, Caffrey, the little baby Boardman. It was darker now, and there were stones and bits of wood on the strand and slippy seaweed. She walked with a certain quiet dignity characteristic of her, but with care and very slowly, because Gertie McDowell was... Tight boots? No. She's lame. Oh. Mr. Bloom watched her as she limped away. Poor girl. That's why she's left on the shelf and the others did a sprint. Thought something was wrong by the cut of her jib. It's a jilted beauty. A defect is 10 times worse in a woman. But it makes them polite. Glad I didn't know when she was on show. Hot little devil all the same. Yeah.
Now, for something completely different, in another part of Dublin, we have Mrs. Poifroy, about ready to give birth, 3 days in labor, a long, prolonged drought in Dublin, a thunderstorm looming on the horizon, and an evolution of English literature from Anglo-Saxon to Victorian style is going to be rendered for us by Nora Bird. Nora is thrilled to be back in Bloomsday 2015. She was most recently seen on stage in Jeff Helgeson's Sign of the Times and can be heard singing right on this very spot Irish music at the Galway Arms on Sunday evenings and in pubs around the city. Also, you may be hearing some from downstairs. The Galway Arms has now begun Tuesday night sessions. So, you might very well stay around and listen to the tunes after we finish our Bloomsday festivities, which is about 4 readings away. Please welcome Nora Bird.
Send us, bright one, light one, Horborn, quickening and womb fruit. Send us, hoopsa, boy, hoopsa. For who is there who anything of some significance has apprehended, but is conscious that exterior splendor may be the surface of a downward trending reality, or that no nature's boon can contend against the bounty of increase? So it behooves every most just citizen to become the exhorter to and admonisher of his symbols, and to tremble, lest what had in the past been commenced might be in the future not with similar excellence accomplished. Before born, babe bliss had, within womb one he worship. Whatever in that one case done, commodiously done was. A couch by midwives attended, with cleanest swaddles, as though forth-bringing were now done. But to this, no less of what drugs there is need, and surgical instruments to ease issue, when if mother, ostensibly far gone and reproductive, it is come by her term up. For this relief, much thanks. And all the people will say amen. The news imparted that an heir had been born, Caesarean. But Sir Leopold was passing grave, as he was minded of his good Lady Marian, that had borne him an only man-child, which, on his 11th day on live, had died. And no man of art could save so dark as destiny. And she was wondrous stricken of heart for that evil hap, and for his burial did him on a fair corslet of lamb's wool, the flower of the flock, for it was then about the midst of winter. And now Sir Leopold, that had of his body no man-child for an heir, looked upon his friend's son, and was shut up in sorrow. What is the age of the soul of man? Who lives in the house that Jack built with Joseph the joiner, the patron of the happy demise of all unhappy marriages? For no greater love than this hath a man, that he lay down his wife for his friend. But bring a stranger within thy tower, and it will go hard, though thou wilt have the second best bed. Therefore, thought he, hast thou sinned against the light, and hast made me, thy lord, to be the slave of servants. No longer is Leopold, as he sits there, ruminating, chewing the cud of reminiscence, that staid agent of publicity and holder of a modest substance in funds. He is young Leopold, as in a retrospective arrangement in a mirror within a mirror, hey, presto, he beholdeth himself. Yet, is as painful perhaps to be awakened from a vision as to be born. In fact, when one comes to look into it, the wonder is that so many pregnancies and deliveries go off so well as they do. All things considered, and in spite of our human shortcomings, which often bulk nature in her intentions. An ingenious suggestion is that both natality and mortality, as well as other phenomena of evolution, tidal movements, lunar phases, blood temperatures, diseases in general, everything, in fine, in nature's vast workshop, from the extinction of some remote sun to the blossoming of one of the countless flowers which beauty our public parks, is subject to a law on numeration as yet unascertained.
Now we come to the section of the evening which involves our cast of not thousands, but multiples in our radio play. So returning to the stage are Tim Larson, who just left for some reason, Dave Getchick, who is here, Nick Greco in the role of Leopold Bloom, Robin Fine, whose poetry has been called insightful, passionate, and honest. Her poetry has been published both nationally and internationally. Yes. Robert has been featured all over Chicagoland and has been part of the Beast Woman Cabaret for the past 6 years. You can always find her at local poetry venues looking for inspiration. Robin in the role of Maud. In the role of Robin's employee is McKenna Leisman. McKenna is thankful to me, that's very gracious of her. I asked her to participate once again in the tradition for the second time. At the beginning of the year, she kicked off with Sign of the Times, written and performed by yours truly at the Rhino Fest. She met this amazing dramaturg for T.S. Eliot in the Wasteland for the Chicago Dance Theater Ensemble, where she was a hit and 2-year mark ensemble member and a teaching artist. Some of her favorite credits include L Stories, Holiday Train, and America's Got Talent, most recently in the Segway episode. And
Maidenhead inside.
I beg your pardon.
Trinity Medical's fallopian tube, all prick and no pence.
Metaphysics on Mecklenburg Street. We have shrew-ridden Shakespeare and henpecked Socrates. Even the all-wisest was bitten, bridled, and mounted by the light of love. Ah! Hold my stick. Damn your stick! Where are we going?
10 shillings a Maidenhead. Fletch Ting was never touched 15. There's no one in it, only her father that's dead drunk. He's getting his pleasure. You won't get a virgin in the flesh house. 10 shillings. Don't be all night before the police in plain clothes see us. Mr. Bloom, you down here in the haunts of sin?
Not so loud, my name! Whatever do you think of me? Don't give me away! The walls have ears!
Are you looking for someone? He's inside with his friend.
Is this Mrs. Max?
Nah, 81 Mrs. Collins. You might go further and fare worse. Mother slipper slapper. She's on the job herself tonight with the vet, her tipster that gives her all the winners and pays for her son in Oxford. Working overtime, but her luck's turned today. You're not his father, are you?
Not I.
You both in black. Has little Mousy any tickles tonight? How is the nuts?
Offside. Curiously, they're rather right. Heavier, I suppose.
You have a hard shaker.
Not likely.
I feel it.
A talisman. Heirloom.
Ah, come in then.
who enters the house?
Poor as a fag as I'm here.
Here?
Ah, got a match on you. Can you see the beauty spot of mine behind?
I'm not looking.
No, you wouldn't do a less thing. Would you suck a lemon?
She is rather lean. Instinct rules the world. In life. In death.
Too much of this. I will arise and go to my... Expect this is the... Steve, thou art in a parlous way. Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
There was a priest down here 2 nights ago to do his bit of business with his coat buttoned up. You needn't try and hide, I says to him. I know you've a Roman collar.
Perfectly logical from his standpoint. Fall of man.
Ah, to hell with the Pope. How's your middle leg? Eh? Come here till I stiffen it for you. Nothing new under the sun.
Wise virgin.
Yes. No.
Hark, our friend. Noise in the street.
A dance! Anybody here for a dance? Give a bleeding whore a chance. Who has 2 pence? Dance! Dance!
Dance of death, ho!
Stephen's mother, emaciated, surrounding with flame-tinted purging fumes, rises stark through the floor in leper gray and a wreath of faded orange blossoms, a torn bridal veil, her first face worn and noseless, green with grave mold. Her hair is scant and lank. She fixes her blue circle hollowed eye sockets on Stephen and opens her toothless mouth, uttering a silent word. A choir of virgins and confessors sing voicelessly. From the top of a tower, Buck Mulligan, in jester's dress and clown's cap with a curling bell, stands gaping at her, a smoking butter-split scone in his hands.
She's beastly dead! The pity of it! Mulligan meets the affected mother!
I was once the beautiful Mary Gould, and I am dead.
Liam, who are you? What boogeyman's trick is this?
The mockery of it! Kinch killed her dog's body, bitch body. She kicked the bucket! Our great sweet mother!
The devil is at the door. I see, says the blind man. Tell us news.
All must go through it, Stephen. More women than men in the world. You too. Time will come.
They said I killed you, Mother. He offended your mother. He offended your memory. Cancer did it, not I, destiny.
You sang that song to me. Love's bitter mystery.
Tell me the word, Mother, if you know now. The word known to all men.
Who saved you the night you jumped into the train at Dalkey with Patty Lee? Who had pity for you when you were sad among the strangers? Prayer is all powerful. Prayer for the suffering souls. Repeat, 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 and repent, repent, Stephen.
The ghoul, hyena.
I pray for you in the other world. Get Tilly to make you that boiled rice every night after your brain work.
Are you fine?
Years and years I loved you. Oh, my son, my firstborn, when you lay in my womb.
Oh, Hamilton.
Look, he's white.
Guilty.
Repent! Oh, the fire of hell!
The raw head and the bloody bones.
Beware God's hand!
Shite! What? Intellectual imagination? With me all or not at all?
Quick, give him some cold water. No, wait.
Oh, Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on him. Save him from hell. Oh, Divine Heart.
No. 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 Break my spirit, all of you, if you can. I'll bring you all to heel.
Have mercy on Stephen, Lord, for my sake. Inexpressible was my anguish when expiring with love, grief, and agony on Mount Calvary.
Stephen lifts his ash plant high with both hands and smashes the chandelier. Time's final flame leaps, and in the following darkness, ruin of all space, shattered glass, toppling masonry.
Stop! Here, hold on! Don't run amok!
Police!
After him!
Stephen, abandoning his ash plant, his head and arms thrown back, Stark beats the ground and flies from the room past the whores at the door.
After him!
Stop! Who pays for the lamp?
What lamp?
Who's to pay 10 shillings? You were a witness.
Me? 10 shillings? Haven't you lifted enough of them? Didn't he pay you the...
Here! None of your tall talk. This isn't a brothel, a 10-shilling house.
Only the chimney's broken. Here is all the...
Jesus, don't!
There's not even 6 pence of damage, worth of damage done. 10 shillings.
Where is he?
Do you want me to call the police?
Bulldog on the premises? You don't want a scandal.
Where is he? I'll charge him. Disgrace him. I will. Zoe! Zoe!
And if it were your own son in Oxford, I know.
Who are you, incog?
There's a row on.
What? Where?
He throws a shilling on the table.
That's from a chimney. Where? I need money.